The month-long IPO drought is hopefully about to come to an end. After the Facebook debacle in mid-May, companies were just afraid to go public again. But Maureen Farrell, staff writer, CNN Money, contributor to the Buzz blog, has written about 4 companies that are on tap to go public this week. Why now? And by now, I actually mean the ticker for ServiceNow, the cloud computing company that everyone's buzzing about.
Yeah, it's a really big week. We're ahead. We've seen 2 somewhat rocky, but not as bad as they could have been weeks in the market. Things seem somewhat stable for now, so it just seemed like a good time to finally test the waters for the IPO market.
You usually have a summer slump anyway, so I think people are probably maybe figuring try and get out before the July 4th holiday and the kind of dog days of summer, perhaps.
Exactly. So they started their roadshow last week. These 4 can kick off, and we see some nice pops. Maybe we'll forget the bad memories of Facebook. We actually could have a few weeks of a busy July.
Right. Talk more about ServiceNow. That's the company that I think people are most excited about, and it's very interesting that these cloud computing, enterprise software service companies, they don't generate as much sex appeal with the average consumer because they're not consumer companies. This isn't a brand name like Facebook, Groupon, Yelp, etc., that have all gone public to a lot of attention but haven't done all that well. What is it about ServiceNow that people on Wall Street are really clamoring for?
So yeah, that's supposedly multiple times oversubscribed already. It's not exciting, but they're lucrative companies. This is software as a service. You pay a monthly fee. Companies do every month. They're pretty stable businesses. They're lucrative, and they've performed very well.
Now, a lot of people, I think, have been talking about just how flawed the IPO market is, the mechanism for companies going public, and there are even more concerns about small companies going public because of the new legislation that allows for smaller businesses to go public in a more easy fashion. Have you talked to people that are worried that we're going to have more problems like Facebook, either companies getting too much hype and the exchanges not being able to handle it, or the flip side of that, companies that no one's heard of now being able to go public when they wouldn't have been able to, and just having so many more risky companies out there on the public markets?
Yes, I mean, people are definitely nervous and very bitter, frankly, after the Facebook IPO. The one thing they're taking solace from this week is the fact that they think that underwriters are going to be very scared to price them very high. So they think this week, at least for the foreseeable future, underwriters might price the offering somewhat low, so we see a nice pop.
Obviously, there are always going to be private companies that are itching to go public, despite the problems with Facebook. Are there other companies that are in the so-called pipeline? I know you mentioned Michaels, which was public at one point, the arts and crafts retailer. Looks like it's going to be going public again. Are there other companies that investors should be preparing for at the end of the year, maybe?
Yeah, there's another company called Palo Alto Networks. It's a security software company. That's another one people are very excited about. I think those are the 2 that investors are most eagerly anticipating and really hope will get out the door so they can buy into them. But we actually have 184 companies on tap to price. So we'll see. I mean, this week's going to be very telling.